Well, hello and welcome to Discovery Soundbites. I am Marie Beam, proud to serve as the CEO of Discovery Museum in Acton, Massachusetts, where we invite children and their families to explore science and nature through play, indoors and out. I am really delighted to be here today with Dr. Helen Riess. Dr. Riess is an MGH psychiatrist and associate professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, who has devoted her career to studying the neurobiology of empathy. She is the founder and chief scientific officer of Empathetics Incorporated, a healthcare empathy training company. Helen is also the author of a best-selling book, The Empathy Effect, and her TEDx talk, The Power of Empathy, has been viewed nearly 1 million times. Helen, thank you so much for being with us and welcome.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So as you well know, we ask just 3 questions of our guests, so we'll dive right in. From your perspective, Helen, what is the biggest opportunity now to improve the lives of kids and families?
I think the biggest opportunity right now is to broaden the capacity of parents and caregivers to create secure, emotionally attached relationships with their children. We know that parents are stressed today, maybe more than ever before, with their jobs, with the technology, the demands of parenting, and just having so many emotional impacts on themselves that what just used to come naturally, I think, is harder and harder for parents to really devote the time and attention and the ways that they can form secure attachments with their children. The other opportunity really is that we need to make a shift from fixing the behavior of children to actually providing the caring, nurturing environments that foster a calm, happy, more well-adjusted child. This doesn't happen by magic. And I think there are many tools that parents can avail themselves of to learn the important skills of creating ways to shape their children's behavior without using shame or blame, but actually modeling empathic skills like perspective taking. Like, what do you think was going on for the other person? Or you seem really sad right now. Can we talk about it? So really learning to read the child, develop an emotional literacy, and also model being interested in how other people are thinking and feeling, because these things start very early. Children can learn empathic skills and curiosity at a very young age.
That's wonderful, Helen, and we see so much of that, of course, in our environment here, working with children and families. So you began to reference a couple of ideas, but what can we do at home or in our communities to cultivate this empathy in children?
Well, I want to remind parents that the strongest predictor of a healthy, well-adjusted child is not being a perfect parent or having tremendous wealth or even achievements on your own part. It's really important that the child has the experience of at least one very attuned, caring adult in their world. And this has been borne out by neuroscience, attachment theory, psychological theory, that knowing that you really matter and someone is emotionally attuned to you is the best predictor that you'll be able to navigate the complexities and the challenges in the world. So, what can we do? It's a great question. First of all, our schools can participate in teaching emotional literacy for children. Instead of reprimanding a child who's taken a toy from someone else, having a circle where you ask the child, how do you think that felt? Or would you like that to happen to you? So we have to move away from sort of punishing and reprimands to trying to understand what's motivating kids to do things and what is the impact when they act on their own impulses? There is so much more mental health awareness now. And so I think what I'm seeing is a broader appreciation for when a child might be not just distressed, but depressed, anxious, and knowing that those conditions cause misbehavior. It's usually understanding what's motivating the behavior that's the most important. The other thing is everyone is in competition for attention these days. Parents want more attention from their kids because the kids are on screens, and kids want more attention from their parents because the parents are on screens. So, what we can do, even as a community, is park your phone. I don't know if you do this at the museum or if you're allowed to, but park your phone while you're playing with your kid, and maybe find times to, have that basket for the phones during a meal or during times when the family is together. And importantly, I think we need to have less judgment when we see parents doing things that don't look right, that look like they're being too harsh with their child or too critical. Instead of viewing that with judgment and criticism, I think there we too have to step back and maybe say things like, "You sound like you're having a hard day. Are you?" Like, it's really hard raising small children. Other kids are acting up today too. I think there's something in the air. Like some ways to kind of let a parent know that you empathize with them because it is probably the hardest job. It it's 7/24. It doesn't stop. So I think if everyone took a moment to understand that there's a backstory to this behavior and to not react so quickly. And I do think parents need to learn self-regulation skills. They need to stop catastrophizing, blowing things out of proportion, saying, "Oh, if my kid acts like this, it means I'm a terrible mother." So there's just so much harshness and criticism. And that's why it's so important. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be really attuned. And you have to be able to apologize to your child to model that if you've stepped over the line.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You in trying to cultivate empathy in others, we have to bring a heavy dose of our own empathy, don't we? And so meet in the middle and recognize our own possible failings on the side of empathy as well. So interesting, Helen. My last question for you: what is one bright spot you are seeing?
So I think that we finally entered an era of greater awareness that how we're treating our children like is a lot of decisions. Like we have choices. We don't just go on autopilot. I think the brightest spot, though, for me is that the awareness of the impact on too much screen time and having like a mother or father's gaze averted from the child is actually very harmful. And I'm seeing some schools putting policies into effect of not allowing them in the school. The age limits are talked about, permissions for sites. So I feel like society's finally catching up to what the science has been really concerned about as far as a lack of mirroring your child's, you know, little accomplishments or joyous moments because your face is averted. Because we know that a parent's what's called a still face is really harmful to children. When they're looking for the connection and your gaze is averted, it is an emotional injury. So that's the bright spot. I also think there's more attention and acceptance of when children need professional mental health. That I think the shame of it is reducing. I hear more and more parents saying, my child therapist says, we're in therapy together. We have our families meeting with a counselor. So I feel like that profound stigma is starting to reduce, and that's a very hopeful sign.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Helen Riess, for joining us today, sharing your great wisdom with us. And I thank everyone for listening and watching. And thank you especially to our generous sponsors for making Discovery Soundbites possible. If you'd like to learn more about the Discovery Museum and our work, you can find us at discoveryacton.org. Come play with us.